Hi, this is Mike and welcome back to brainstemschool.com. I have been trying to publish this video for days now and many distractions have prevented it. So, for better or for worse, we're going to fire straight through the lesson with no editing, start to finish, so you get to see all the mistakes that I normally edit out. Today's lesson is going to be about dictionaries. A dictionary, just like it sounds, is a way that you can look up information based on a search term or a key. So they are key-value pairs. Let's head over to the interactive window and take a look at one. We'll have a dictionary called MyDict. And the dictionary data goes inside of the braces, otherwise known as the curly braces. So you set up, as I said, a key-value pair, and those keys can be of any type. We're going to put a string consisting of a single character as the key. So that's one key value pair. The lowercase a is associated with aardvark. Lowercase b is associated with banana. Now, just in case you're wondering, it's a throwback to my C and C++ and Java days to put single characters in single quotes and strings in double quotes, although Python does not make a distinction between single characters and strings. Furthermore, it doesn't make a distinction between single quotes and double quotes. It's just a habit that I like to follow, just to keep things consistent. So right now we have a very simple dictionary with just two search terms in it. If we were to inspect the dictionary, we would see both aardvark and banana are associated. And then you can reference each of them by search term. MyDict sub A would give you aardvark. MyDict sub B would give you banana. MyDict sub C does not exist, so you get a key error. Furthermore, although they are referenced just like lists are referenced, you cannot use integers to index them. So there is no MyDict sub 0. We would have to actually add the search key of 0 if we wanted that to happen. Let's insert a couple more. To add to an already existing list, you just assign the value to the key. Now, to inspect it, you see that Canada's in there. Now, it's worth noting that the order that you put them in is not necessarily the order that they are stored in. This is okay because we don't use dictionaries for ordered lists. We use dictionaries for random lookups. You can look up any one of these values at any time. It's also worth noting that the keys are case sensitive. So if I were to use a capital C, of course, Python will get confused and say, hey, I don't have that key. I'm sorry. No way, Jose. Adios, amigo. Also, we're assuming in this situation that Python speaks Spanish. Now, another thing to take note of is that you cannot look up by value. Although banana is a value, it's not a key, so we can't search directly by value, only by key. We'll find out how we can look up a value in a moment. Furthermore, you cannot have more than one instance of a key. So if I were to assign A to have a different value, such as apple, notice now that the A case is valued with apple, the A key is valued with apple, and aardvark no longer exists. Finally, or not quite finally, but finally in this subtopic of dictionaries, you can have more than one of the same value. That in no way confuses Python because once again, it looks up by key and not by value. So keys must be unique, values do not need to be unique. And again, notice where it puts it because order does not matter in dictionaries. So that's the basic dictionaries. Moving on to a few more advanced features, you can get something like a list of keys and like a list of values. It's actually not a list, so to speak, but it can be easily cast into a list. What you say is my dict dot keys, parentheses. And this makes a method call to the myDict object, to the dictionary object, and says give me the keys. So you can see it is a dict underscore keys. It is not a list of keys, even though it looks like a list of keys. If you want it to be cast to a list, you could simply say list and then put that value inside of lists parentheses, and now it becomes a list. So as a list, it can be indexed. And now there is such a thing as order. You can do the exact same thing with the values. And you get a list. Well, you get a dict underscore values, which again can be cast to a list if you needed to. And then, as such, it can be indexed. And finally, getting a list of the keys or a list of the values could be useful in a for loop. So for instance, we can say for key in myDict.keys, and then we can iterate through each of the keys in the list. Print key has a value of, and then we can search myDict sub key, and the result will list each of the key value pairs. When we get into sorting, we'll see how you can output these in alphabetical order, but that's not today's lesson. And that's all we have for the day on using dictionaries. You can imagine how useful this would be for looking up and retrieving data. And what are computers without data? That was hypothetical, rhetorical question, but if you really want an answer, it's just a pile of plastic and metal and probably some mercury and maybe a couple other things. Anyway, have a great rest of the day, and make sure and visit brainstemschool.com, download the ebook and check it out, and make sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and have a great rest of the day and the weekend, and happy coding. Adios.